Kevin has identified as libertarian his entire life. The Libertarian Party is the only option for personal freedom, privacy, free speech, and natural rights. With over 20 years of experience in the technology industry, innovating and streamlining processes, Kevin knows how to challenge the corrupt people in government. He has a clear libertarian message for America that needs to be heard. If you are attending the National Libertarian Party Convention in Orlando, cast your token for Kevin McCormick so we can hear what he has to say.
A Phoenix man says he is running for president. He says he's fed up with all of the nastiness and the lack of options for the next commander-in-chief. Kevin McCormick launched his website yesterday announcing he is running as a libertarian. He says his platform focuses on the issues of personal freedom, privacy, and free speech. McCormick says the Republican debate on March 3rd motivated him to run.
I just couldn't believe what I saw on TV. I couldn't believe what we were discussing. None of our core issues, nothing that's important to the country was discussed. I saw people exchange insults and discuss things that have nothing to do with this country. And I said, that's it. And I woke up that morning and I filed.
McCormick says he wants to show that an average, hardworking American can become president.
Kevin McCormick, a technology sector expert from Phoenix, Arizona, entered the race for the Libertarian nomination after seeing the GOP presidential debate in March of this year. The vision of presidential candidates exchanging insults and making issues out of things McCormick feels have nothing to do with this country and its predecessors was why he entered the race. He advocates an increase to spending to technological infrastructure. In his view, the greatest threat to our nation isn't the events in the Middle East, but the cyber attacks affecting everyday Americans. Kevin McCormick has been a member of the Libertarian Party since 1996 and finished third in the Libertarian Party poll on the Libertarian Party website just 72 hours after announcing his candidacy.
I am here today as a lifelong libertarian, and I discovered early on in my life that our major parties don't represent the average American. But when I started watching the debates this year, I was appalled, disgusted, and ashamed how far our established parties have gone to pander, mislead, and, well, straight up lie to you, the American public, all to gain media attention and your vote. The U.S. debt has grown over 400% over the last 30 years, and we are now borrowing almost $1 million a minute. Our rights, personal freedom, privacy, and free speech are under attack by our elected officials. Instead of debating the issues in our Congress, our politicians create unconstitutional government agencies and pass off their responsibilities to unelected bureaucrats who then create laws and regulations that strangle the rights of our country and crush our economy. We are led to believe that the Republicans and Democrats can't agree on anything. But the reality is this is not the truth. If you want more government spending, secret courts, domestic spying, and continued destruction of your rights, there are already two political parties for you. If you are tired of voting for the lesser of two evils, there is a real third choice on the ballot this year. It's time for America to stand up and be heard. Do you really want things to change? Then use your vote, your voice, and by going to the polls this November and voting for the Libertarian Party. Our politicians and the media focus on the wrong things when it comes to our trade gap. The real issue is our repatriation tax. Most Americans don't realize that for every dollar a company earns overseas, it is taxed in that country. And then if they want to bring that dollar back here to do jobs or redistribute to their shareholders, they have to pay a 35% tax rate, one of the highest in the world. Instead, our companies have left now $2 trillion locked in bank accounts overseas. We need to eliminate this tax and bring that money home. To hit on what Mr. Perry said, we already have a system in place to deal with this. It's called our bankruptcy courts. When the internet bubble burst, we had some of the largest bankruptcies in the world, including WorldCom. Guess what? Your phone didn't stop working. It kept working, and people went to jail. and these companies failed. As long as we continue to bail people out for their bad behavior, we will get nothing but bad behavior. If I don't punish my dog for going to the bathroom in the house, he will continue to go to the bathroom in the house. This is one of the areas that I think all of our presidential candidates and all the parties need to give you honest answers as the public. I do not have the power to cut these programs. These programs are controlled by the Congress. And I can tell you, under my presidency, we are going to be focused on balancing the budget, returning our personal freedoms, privacy, and free speech to the American public. If the Congress wants to try to pass additional spending to me, they will have to have equal cuts for those programs. And I can promise you I will veto anything that does not have a balanced budget proposal. This hits back on my earlier topic. I don't think it's a realistic first step. That's why I'm focused on the repatriation tax, because I feel in my heart that there's a recession coming in this country, and we have $2 trillion trapped overseas right now. Apple is borrowing money to bring it back into the United States instead of paying that tax. We should be focused on this tax first, one tax at a time, cut the repatriation tax to zero so our companies can start bringing their money home to either hire more people, invest in infrastructure in the United States, or, if necessary, return that money to our shareholders. People always forget that shareholders are all of us. Your pension fund at home owns U.S. stocks. If we bring this money back and the companies feel the need to do a special dividend, this is going into your pocketbook. This is going to grow your retirement funds. This is going to help your pension. We need to cut this tax immediately. We will become all capital in the world will begin flowing to the United States. Right now, we had our Treasury trying to stop what we call tax inversions from our pharmacies because they had a tax disadvantage globally against their competitors. If we eliminate this tax, all those companies will come back to the United States. We will actually see an increase in taxes because we'll find more companies headquartered here in the United States. First, if you'd like to learn more about me after watching this tonight, please go to kevinmccormick2016.com or find me on Facebook, Kevin McCormick 2016. Starting with the Bush administration in 2000, our government has been on a wild spending spree, increasing our debt to now over $17 trillion. And shortly after this, they also started a mass data collection program that led to domestic spying on millions of innocent people. Our rights have been stripped from us. And now we live in a country with secret courts that authorize searches on millions of people without their knowledge. This is not what the founders of our country had in mind when they wrote our Constitution. The Republicans and Democrats have been lying to us for over 30 years. During every election cycle, they promise us many things, including the end of the wars in the Middle East, a balanced budget, and less government in our lives. But after the election is over, they return to Washington, D.C., and none of these things ever happen. Our reward for supporting the two established parties is two of the most disliked candidates in the history of U.S. politics. We have lost almost 3,000 people in 9/11, and since then, our various commanders-in-chiefs have sent over 7,000 people to foreign countries to die. And over 50,000 men and women have been injured. And when they returned to this country, they were welcomed. They are military heroes. But we did not give them the best welcoming ever. We did not welcome them with the best medical care ever. Instead, we greeted them with a VA system that was broken and provided them with almost no care. It is time for the United States and the people of the United States to stand up and unite against our established parties. We are not going to stand for empty promises right now. Stand up with me and vote Libertarian this November.